Genius! Absolute genius! Now he'll unleash one! Sensational goal! And a great save from Courtois to deny Neymar. And Croatia, for the first time ever, will play in a World Cup final. France are the champions of the world.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup will be live from 20th November to 18th December on all GPC platforms. Watch GTV Sports Plus and GTV for captivating English commentary.
So magic!
Open TV for comprehensive black commentary, Garden City TV for undiluted tree commentary, and vivid commentary of all 64 matches on radio stations across the country. Enjoy the Qatar 2022 experience with GBC.
Sports Plus, your official broadcaster. Welcome back to the program. So I've got Jerome in house. I've still got Ebo, and we've had quite a few gentlemen. I said, yes, you're going to have to be going up and down, wishy-washy, left, right, because they're going to get themselves involved in a bit of a quagmire. Having said that, let's start and look at Group A. Let's take a look at Qatar, Senegal, the Netherlands, and Ecuador. Well, this is Qatar first. The basic 2.99, like I said, 3 million, yes. For which like only about 1/10 or half of 20% is actual Qataris, and the rest are totally migrant. When I say migrants, I mean both illegal and legal.
So imagine one stadium in Qatar, another one in Amasama.
No, but I prefer it that way. Hold on, I prefer that way. No, because if there's a match being taking place at the La Magdan,
yes,
and I watch that one,
yes,
I can walk to Accra Stadium and watch number 2.
Okay,
that's it.
But then you have 1 million people being hosted by 3 million people. That's what
it's all right. And then, well, they have invested the money. Only question is that we'll find out in about 2 years' time whether all the information.
But I think they will give out a lot of them.
Yeah. I heard we went and asked for something.
We have bid for one. I will get it. The container one, eh?
Yeah.
We went for the container one.
Yeah.
Yes. When we get it, we'll name it Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay. All right, so that's Qatar. Then there is Ecuador, Senegal. Okay, now you can talk about it. Senegal, folks.
I think it's a big country, Senegal.
Yeah. Well, it's almost to have by Gambia.
Gambia
has an entry there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where you see that little black whatever it is.
Gambia, eh?
Yeah, that's Gambia.
So Senegal can actually close Gambia if they want.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do that because if they dared to do it, the mighty powers would.
But they also have a nice metro system and then a new stadium now.
It links Banjul to Dakar.
One of the most strong African presidents we have is
Macky Sall.
Yeah. I think he's done very well for his people.
Yeah. Well, so it's Senegal there, and of course the star attraction.
I think the academy system in Senegal.
I don't think it's a star attraction, that the star attractions, because they have quite a few.
I think they have a team, not individual. Only one stands out.
People who are playing regularly a Premier.
Not all the leagues.
No, I'm not talking about Premier League alone. I mean Premier Leagues.
Yeah, all the leagues. Yeah. I think if you go to Italy, you find them. France, a lot.
Germany,
Spain,
the UK, we all know that.
They are there. So this is the strongest African outing.
They are the team to watch in terms of the Africa.
The hope for Africa. They are the hope for Africa.
I have always been careful having so much hope in the African teams. You know why? Because for all the period I've seen African teams at the World Cup, just when you expect them to excel and really blossom, exceed expectation, that's when.
But this team has two things for them: consistency.
Yeah, but
and then they have the Dio factor. That team that won against France. For them to build on that experience,
I think
Senegal has a lot to build on. You know, there are things in life called stepping stones, where you see a stumbling block or a stepping stone.
Yeah, but there's a 50-year period between that generation and this generation.
I wish we exercise a bit of caution because you see,
I'm not saying, but I'm saying that for Africa,
no, but that's there's always been one star within the midst of countries that go to the World Cup on our side, and I'm saying that in 2002, was it not 2002 that they beat France in the opening? That was 200. No, but see, it's not about they being underdogs.
Yeah, but I'm
it's about expecting them to do well when they must, and that's when they blow
2002.
Yes,
they were not the best of the continent.
Exactly. Well, I accept that argument
because they lost Cameroon on penalties. If you remember,
they have winners.
Cameroon had also qualified for that World Cup.
Look, they have winners in this Senegal team who have tasted champions.
Mboma, remember him?
Yes, Mboma.
Etoo at the top. And then some of the rest were, oh my goodness. But I'm saying that not Cameroon. You see, I'm trying to side with him a bit because we expected Cameroon to do for Africa.
That is what they have always done. That is what all African countries have done. Well, Jerome, I want to disagree with you today and hope against hope. No, I also have the African has come of age when we realize that at the world,
I am not. See,
so for how long are we going to have that?
I like the fact that you are hoping against hope. I'm saying that, given what we have seen at the World Cup, see. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You expect Senegal to win a game that must be capable of winning.
I don't see Senegal. Okay, folks, let me just finish with this one here. You got Ecuador and Holland to look at. Let's put it up on the screen. But if you look at this
small country,
Ecuador,
Quito.
Now this is what baffled me when I saw the currency.
Yes.
It's
a small country.
I know it's a small country, but I'm saying that I was really baffled when I found out that they use the US dollar.
I think Panama, most of the Caribbean around, even the US Virgin Islands, so many of those countries, in order for them not to, the central bank not to stress itself, like ours is stressing now.
And their population,
look at the population.
Their population is just around that of Senegal.
Yes. So for them, if you go to Quito, the country is on fire. Everybody is happy.
Yeah.
They are giving a lot of hope to the people of Quito. And so I think that even for them being at the World Cup, it's a plus for them.
Yeah.
It's an interesting group.
Yeah, it is.
If you look at the demographics, you're having Qatar and Quito and Ecuador as the outsiders.
Yes.
And Holland and
Senegal.
But don't be surprised, Ecuador or Qatar will be able to pick a draw out of those two teams.
Okay. I think I'd go for a Okay, let's go to Netherlands quickly so we can go for a short break. Netherlands, nobody needs to argue.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody needs to argue.
I don't know why they've not won the World Cup.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Perennial underachievers.
But why did they have a bona fide right to win the World Cup?
Because the years won, they had an opportunity in South Africa.
Yeah.
They didn't won.
But that one, they were a brutal team. They were butchering and hacking all manner of people.
One of the
If you
years.
look at the likes of Marco van Basten, Gullit, the Coleman, the players that has come out of Van Nistelrooy was a striker that could give you 20 goals per season.
They were in the semi-final with Brazil. They were in
1980s.
98.
98.
1980.
1998.
That year to they came back.
Either it's self-belief or they have to do something about the coaching system.
The 74 team, I was fortunate enough to have watched it because I was in the UK at the time. They were absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even 82.
Yeah.
No, 82 they didn't make it.
They didn't make it in 82.
That's 86. It was 90 that
Sorry,
had that. 90 was when they came in as Euro champs, and they had Rijkaard, they had Koeman, they had Gullit, they had Van Basten, they had Van Tichelen, they had Van Breukelen. Come on.
That team was a star-studded team.
So that is where it brings me back to the African perspective that you have your hope on them, and then Holland are a typical example.
Very typical.
Very typical example.
The two of you on after the World Cup.
Right.
I
Okay.
will not agree with the two of you.
So let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion in the house. Please don't go anywhere.
The one-year countdown is on. The 15th Africa Games Accra 2023. From the 4th to the 19th of August 2023. The 13th Africa Games Accra 2023. Experience the African dream. FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Best seen on GTV Sports Plus, your official broadcaster.
FIFA World Cup is Qatar. It's Mbappe! Oh my word! Goes down, gets a free kick. Oh, genius! Absolute genius! Now he'll unleash one! Sensational goal! And a great save from Courtois to deny Neymar. And Croatia, for the first time ever, will play in a World Cup final. France France are the champions of the world.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup will be live from 20th November to 18th December on all GBC platforms. Watch GTV Sports Plus and GTV for Otoo TV for comprehensive commentary, Garden City TV for undiluted tree commentary, and vivid 64 matches on all GBC radio stations across the country. Enjoy the Qatar 2022 experience with GBC.
At the newsroom, it's there with Isaac Tete. And so, if you can hear me, take it up.
You're most welcome to the announcement of the Blackstars squad, and the biggest moment and the final moment is here with us. All the speculations and all the agitations we put to bed as Coach Otoo Addo, the head coach of the Blackstars, announces his final 26-man squad earlier this week. Last week, we've seen a lot of speculations and the agitations. Well, the big moment and the final moment is here. Ghana is one of the 5 remaining countries yet to announce that 26-man squad. We've had 27 teams out of the 32 teams participating at this year's World Cup in Qatar. I've already named and announced their squad for the World Cup, and a lot of dignitaries, high-profile men and women are already here. The premises of multi-choice where the announcement will be made, and we'll be getting into the details or the breakdown of what to anticipate. And I'm joined by Tio Sampa, who is a colleague here at GTV Sports Plus. Tio, great to have you.
Indeed, it's a great feeling here at the offices of Multi-Choice, where the GFA have decided to officially announce the much-awaited 26-man squad for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. And so everybody is here, the media, everybody is eagerly waiting to really know exactly who makes the cut, because there's been a provisional 55-man squad where everybody has been speculating. This one would like to go, this one would like to go, all because of the positives that will come out. For club level, you know how much a player will earn. For the club, for country-wise, you know, so it's going to be amazing. And this 22nd edition of this FIFA World Cup really it's full of surprises. You can't just easily predict. And so we're looking at Otoo Addo and his team, Masudi Dramani, Chris Houghton, to really cross their T's and dot their I's. You see, for some time now, since we started qualifying for the World Cup and playing Cup, every day there is a final call-up. There's always controversy surrounding the call-ups, and as usual, it's becoming part of us. But I'm hoping that enough of the speculations. If the 26-man squad comes out, it will be a true representation, a perfect mix. Because the way some media have carried themselves about this particular one is a bit worrying. And so, if you throw misinformation and disinformation out there, sometimes it makes the populace uncomfortable.
But you're talking about the squad. We know that today or just the weekend gone, 3 key players, Jojo Wallacott, Richard Ofori, we understand also is racing against time to be fit for the World Cup, as well as Baba Idris, who picked an injury in the Mallorca's last game in La Liga. These are 3 key players who we understand reportedly are out of the rest of the year. So they'll probably not be making the trip or the squad to Qatar 2022. I don't know if you coach Otoo Addo, what will be running through your head right now and how you are going to adjust your list.
That's the duty of the technical list. But again, you see, we are being told it is not officially confirmed. If somebody picks a knock, it doesn't mean that the person might not be at the World Cup. And so the way we're trying to speculate and trying to make it seem as if there is no hope, I just want to weather that storm and just allow the coach in the next 10 minutes to really tell us who really are our goalkeepers, who really are this. So he gives us the justification why he's picking them or not. But to say that a week ago we were being told that, and then Richard Ofori is injured, then the same club comes out to come and tell you that he is fit to go and play. But here in Ghana, we're still speculating. The player comes out and says, I feel a little bit pain in my legs. And someone says, he's injured. He's not going to play for the rest of the year. how do you do that? We are in a scientific world, and football is being run on a scientific basis. So this issue about key players being injured here and there, then Partey shouldn't be in the squad because he named off when we were playing against Brazil. Is he coming to play? So we should just allow the coach to do his work. When he comes out with the 26 in the next 10 minutes, we can now sit and dissect it very well and then give you exactly the true reflection of what we are going to do at this particular World Cup. But if we should still stay on the speculations, yes, see, today we are being told Jeffrey Schlupp will not play. We are now being told that the FA is the one fighting Otoo Addo to not bring it. You know, these things really don't help, but because we've created room for speculations,
there are a bit of distractions.
I think that it's part of the PR work. Remember, agents are at work, agencies are also at work, players, PRs are also at work. And remember, in our system, most of us journalists have become PRs for players. And so your player goes, you get to do it. Just look at even when the news came out that Otoo Addo hasn't spoken, but people are saying that Danlad will not go. Then they started, why should Danlad not go? Why should Ifri Banye be in the squad? I am a Kotoko fan, I am a Hasselhoff fan. Is it these kind of speculations that they bring in? It really doesn't engender work for us, but we hope after 10 minutes we'll get to know from Otoo Addo exactly which goalkeepers are going, which defenders are going, which attackers are going, and which wingers are going.
I know you just said we should let the conjecture and speculations just die off, but we all know that yes, we want the best players to be assembled for the Black Stars. And Otoo Addo has said that at some point he said 70% or even more of the players that he called for the Brazil and Nicaragua game will be constituting the Black Stars for his World Cup. But again, we can't deny that some players have been great form, even though they did not see or play some of these friendly matches. Talk of Joseph Pinto, talk of Jeffrey Schlupp himself, talk of Majid Ashimeru. In your estimation, what kind of players do you think that Coach Otoo Addo will be looking out for, despite the fact that some of these players who are in great form did not make it in these friendly games against Brazil and Nicaragua?
When the mantle fell on the 4 disciples that come and think about how we secure our qualifications, we saw what really happened. That the players you did mention, none of them played in the playoffs. So if indeed the playoffs served as the way for us to go, and Otoo Addo used these boys, and he's saying okay, 70% of them, we don't know what Otoo Addo is going to say right there.
Okay, Theo, that's Theo Sampa. We'll be sticking around, awaiting the big announcement. It's a big moment for Ghana because a lot of speculation have been out there for which players and which players who are not making the trip or making the trip to Qatar. But Coach Otoo Addo certainly will be giving us all the gist with regards to the playing body for the Black Stars at Qatar 2022. So it's live on GTV Sports Plus. We'll be giving you the announcement in a jiffy.
Right. So that's I did it the other way around, didn't I? I said Theo Sampa should have rather been Isaac Tete interviewing Theo. And ironically, isn't it, that we still don't have the list? It's amazing, and they touched on certain key issues concerning Schlupp, which is now seems to be the thing trending. What's your take, Jerome?
You know, it's very interesting that we find ourselves in a situation where player selection is to be determined by, or to some extent to be determined by, people you will not call coaches, but administrators in the game. I don't know how selection was done in the past, but from all that I have seen, it has always been down to what the coaches think and who they believe can do the job for them. In this instance, I mean, in the current circumstance we find ourselves, there is a clear statement out there that national team coaches will not be the only ones to decide who plays for the national team. And that for me is the problem. And that for me, again, explains why Jeffrey Schlupp and some other players will not be in the team, even if Otoo Addo wants them to be there. Because then it is going to come down to what those administrators around the team also think. If those around the team, not the coaches, those around the team believe that certain players must not be called for whatever reason, the coaches have no say. And I've said that even those coaches, it is only That's what I think. They have said that, oh, they are 4. Yes, Chris Hilton did it, the manager watching and Otoo Addo. But I don't believe that anyone can change anything any of these FA guys think if they really want to do what they do.
It's actually because it's gone viral on various social media platforms as well.
Well, you and I have a chemical background where we always it's about action and reaction. So on this one, I want to hold my breath. Let the 20 out, then I'll have my say on it.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I was thinking that, these are the 4 chaps who are in charge of the national team. As to whether they're really the 4 chaps in charge is another matter, because it's only one person who's in charge. We can't be 4. And no one.
How about Otoo Addo has today to let the people of Ghana know that he's in charge or not in charge, what he put out. Because the likes of Jerome and the likes of other people who have been doing this work for some time, yes, they're not coaches, but excuse my word, they're not dumb. So Otoo Addo cannot tell Jerome that Ebo Apia is going to be the left wing back for Blaster. How? So he has an opportunity, a brilliant opportunity, to carry all of us along by being as honest. It's a German trait, so we're looking at a lot of integrity for him.
Eventually,
What's the German trait? He's German born there, live there. He was born there, he lives there, he works there.
And that's it.
Yeah, so too much is expected from him.
You know, the thing is, but for the way we do our things, Carl, this should have been a straightforward thing. I mean, even the drama. Somebody just sent a message saying that unveiling of Blackstars players for the World Cup has become an event. It has become an event because of how we've chosen to do it.
Okay. But if we take a look at the way England did theirs, if that's the standard, and I'm not saying that's the standard because they don't set the standards. List.
That's it.
And then 5 minutes later, Southgate came and sat down, and then they bombarded him with questions.
Exactly.
This one is different.
Yeah.
But France had a similar way where
That's the way
the champ.
At least that's the level that I know.
It is. You have a country where from 2014, the last time we went, Kwesi Appiah came to the. I was there. He came to
the FA.
The FA.
And then read out the list.
And then now 2 questions from us. Because the media has questions.
Sadly.
This is a country that's very passionate in terms of our blackers. So when we are going into a tournament, there's a way to whip up sentiment for people to begin to channel. Even when we are not happy, we still over the last time. Yeah. So imagine we are happy. So he has an opportunity on that, and these are my reasons. And that's what Southgate did. Southgate comes in and said, like, look, they give him a couple of plans. Said, look, when we're going, balance of this, a balance of that, So about 95 to 96%, he was giving that benefit of doubt.
I don't know how this is.
Pause. A video of him naming the squad.
Yes. And then later on.
But if video, then pause.
You guys did something.
Hold on. If it's a video,
yes,
would he be there?
Yeah, he should be there.
Okay. So
you get a montage. I can tell you, he will deliver on that.
Yeah.
He will give us a nice presentation.
I don't have any qualms or any worries about doing that because each country has its own.
Because then it can be flown on social media and allow people to hear.
Let's clarify a few things with reference to team selections and things. I hear the media in Ghana and I hear the media in the UK and all those so-called pundits out there saying that it's solely the coach's prerogative. But if it's the coach's prerogative, can it not also be that then within a cultural setting, because you use the word about cultural settings, in a cultural setting, we do ours differently? That yes, the prerogative lies with the coach, but the administrator can have an input as well.
You see, Carl, the point for me is this. If I am a football administrator and I've seen players somewhere, I can tell the coach that I think we should look at this player. For me, that's where it should end. So in the instance of Jojo, one of the goalkeeper, even though he will not be going, we are told, what I know from the beginning was that he was recommended to the goalkeeper's trainer to have a look at him. They had a look at him. They thought he was good, and he was I don't see anything wrong with that. Where I have a problem is what Siki, for instance, made references to recently. Some have said we should ignore him because he didn't talk when he was supposed to. It's now that he's out of office that he's talking. But there's still some validity in what he says that I submitted a list, it was looked at, and some names were taken out. That for me is unacceptable because then we are doing the coach's job for him.
Good. So, if at the same time, per what you said, and Charles is a very, very good friend, he submits a list is brought back, and certain names are not there. You have two options. You either go along with it and keep your mouth shut, or you put it on paper. I've quit.
Yes, but unfortunately, I don't see a lot of our coaches taking the second option. They are always going to.
So then there's no basis for complaints.
I agree. I perfectly agree. Because then why are you telling us? We should have taken that action of rejecting whatever has been imposed on you, rather than accepting to go with the flow, and then later when you are out of the job, you come and tell us, players were imposed.
It brings me back to that cultural thing again that I'm asking, that I asked. If it is that Bunyinism, they do it to coach, yes, we within our cultural setting, the African setting, the Ghanaian setting, do it that a bit from the coach, a bit from the administrator.
Carl, I'm seated here, not because I'm here, Phil. I'm seated here, not because you called me. I'm seated here because the producers, plus you, the host, agree that I'm needed here. And that's why I'm here.
Okay.
And therefore, if I'm here, based on those qualifications, you cannot speak for Jerome, you cannot speak for me, because we're not here to do your bidding. But look at our coaches, how they are appointed. Can we see the same? How we appoint the white man is how we appoint the black man? No. With the black man, a lot of machinations. This is Otoo Addo. When the FA president was in Germany, the politicians were here with Chris Hughton. Or is that not the case?
That's it.
And so, you see, the foundation of how we appoint the coach embeds them into our culture setup, such that they are timid, such that they are not able to say what they have to say. But only here, Otoo Addo was sitting somewhere, and you go to Dortmund, you play, you poach him, you give him a contract. Now we don't even know his contract.
Yeah.
As we speak now, we don't know how much he earns. We blame Question Entity for non-transparency, but we don't know how much Otoo Addo earns. What does his contract stipulates? These are the reasons that our local coaches are not strong. Because if Otoo Addo is on an $80,000 contract, he would not let you come and dictate to him. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It is important that the foundation, you see, the problem is that we build muddy foundations and we want skyscrapers on them.
It's not going to work.
It's about time we begin to put in, garbage out. Excel sheet is one of the most excellent softwares you can have. But it's a formula-based software. So whatever you put in is whatever comes out of it. So if Otoo Addo is appointed on the basis of so much talk around it to a point where Chris Hughton has to come in as an advisor, then what we prepared is what we are eating.
It's intriguing, isn't it? The Tank Hotel, Houston and
look, it is important as a country to begin to do things right. And things right means, like what Jerome was saying, transparency from the ground up. You cannot expect a coach who has been tamed, who has been brought in, thinking that somebody is doing him a favor, to begin to act the way you want him to act. Even we as a people, we are not being fair to the coaches.
It's going to be difficult.
Very difficult.
As a journalist, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't also bring up this topic, which started making the rounds about 2 weeks ago on FIFA Bounces program, Soccer Chat, the Otoo Addo scenario thing that he raised up. Which, to be frank, with when I heard it, it had never actually dawned on me. Okay, the issue he raised up was that as a country, quotation marks, we weren't serious because we are the only one that doesn't have a full-time coach.
But he didn't say it wrong. He didn't say it wrong. You see, this is what I was telling you about foundation and rights. Let me give myself as an example. Ghana was playing Canada in Washington some years ago. So I was going and I got to the airport. Unfortunately for me, my passport had 6 months expired.
You can't travel without your passport.
You know, as usual in Ghana, we are able to navigate our way through. So I spoke with the people at the...
They looked elsewhere.
No, you wait. So then I was able to navigate. I get to Washington, I'll go to our embassy in Washington and try and get it done. So our people here were ready to let me go. Guess what? Delta Airways had an American profiler at the gate. His words are this: you have managed to get here. Go through. When you get to Washington, you'll be brought back.
That's true. That's very true, because right at immigration, that's the first thing you look at.
Yeah. You understand? So it didn't matter who I was. The system put me out. We don't believe in systems. We don't believe in correct things. We don't believe in appointing people because they deserve to be there. We appoint people based on who knows who. And so long as we're in that cycle, it's been 30 years of democracy. And from Accra to Kumasi, we have not been able to do it between two political parties. It tells you that we will be going round and round and round until we decide to do something I call a paradigm shift. No paradigm shift, garbage in, garbage out.
You see, I'm sorry, the Otoo Addo situation, when I saw the video, the first thing I said was, Otoo Addo is not saying anything new.
No.
Where has he been? So I was even surprised he was saying it at the time he was saying it. But then, if you look at what he was saying, it is something we started saying the very day Otoo Addo, this arrangement was done. I spoke against it. I said that, look, from how I've seen this FA when it comes to Blackstars management, they are not doing the right things. They are not doing the right things in the sense that they seem to be okay with this short-term thing, short-term approach to managing our team. They did it with CK, it didn't work. They did it with Milo, it didn't work. And they've done the same thing with Otoo Addo. We don't know how it's going to work. But here's the point. If they so much believe in Otoo Addo, and Otoo Addo so much wants this job, keep on out 2 ways. You quit your job in Germany and take this on a long-term basis. Somebody even told you, look, long-term shouldn't be 2 or 3 years. No. But then, even if that's what we want to do, 2 years is fine. Here we have a situation where the FA wanted Otoo Addo. The system that is managing our sports, and here I'm talking about the government, didn't want Otoo Addo, but Chris Hilton. There had to be a compromise. You cannot run a national, football team like that. You can't, because those you are going to compete with are not doing those things. And these things, we cannot run away from what is the standard or what are conventions. If we are going to play Brazil at the World Cup, and you are not doing things the way Brazil is doing things, in order to outwit or outrun them, you are going to be humiliated, because there's a standard way of doing things. Even it's about appointing coaches, and like it was listed, 32 countries going there. Ghana is the only one with a part-time coach. Why? Is it because we don't have money to hire a full-time coach? No, it is because we've chosen to do it that way. And it comes with its own consequences. The thing for me was that the FA decided to go this path. And all of us accepted it because there is virtually nothing we can do. The sports minister, who perhaps is supposed to be the voice of the people, also decided to go with it, because at the end of the day, the state that is paying the coach likes the arrangement. Whether they don't like it or not, we've all settled for it. And I'm saying that we cannot fly with that, because in the long term, we're going to be exposed.
We settled for it for what purpose? We settled for it because the government cannot be seen to be flaring, even though we know otherwise, as per FIFA's rules. And the crux of the matter is that we don't It was an interim thing that he needed on the spot of the moment, because right after the Nations Cup,
You see,
there was no way for rival.
our last World Cup exposed us big time. And then we came back with the Kamefe Commission. Now, that had a white paper. How many of that has been carried out 8 years on?
Literally none.
That is one. So, look at Ali Sisi. How many years has he taken in Senegal?
He was there in 2019.
Maybe 8 years now.
Yeah,
8 years in charge. Look at England and Southgate.
Yeah.
How many years? The German coach that led. You know, so we all know that only grave digging starts from the top. From grave digging, that starts from the top. Everything else is approach. And for the past 10 years, we are not giving any coach more than 2 years.
Yeah.
And we haven't learned from that.
Yeah, because the coaches have not been successful. If they had been successful, it would have been continued.
No, you see, when you start a project, any successful project cannot take 2 years. Show me. What project? Even a stadium planning takes more than 2 years.
I know about stadium
itself.
But I do know. I don't know about stadium.
Yes.
But I do know critically that nobody gets a contract more than 3 years at the national level. Nobody.
Good, but we haven't done that before.
Yeah, but we haven't.
We haven't.
Yeah, but
we haven't done it 2 years.
2 years.
So that's what we're saying.
No, but then 2 years and 3 years.
No.
There's a difference of what? A whole year.
24 and 36 months.
Yeah.
How can you say it's a lot?
So you see,
so it's important that a coach comes in and there's no pressure to qualify for tournaments. When you take that off his shoulder, he now begin to say that I have a Loftus Cheek that I'm taking, and I think that in the next 3 years it will count. I have a Gallagher I'm taking now. You need to have that coach have 4 or 5 because youngsters that he's bringing along, and that's what worked for Unova, because the successful team of the under 19, he picked the under 20, he picked the core.
It was not necessarily the core.
Yeah, but some people
about 9.
Yes.
Yeah,
but 9 in a
out of 23. The core were already there.
But how many played?
Out of
the time, how many played?
That's about 3, 4.
Yeah, but it is something for him to build on. He build on something. You need to build on something. What are you building on? After I understand that one of Otoo Addo's reservations about Shop is that he has not seen him play.
I hope that's not what he said. See,
you understand? So if you had a coach there,
you know, in planning for this team, the disappointing thing is that right after the World Cup, Otoo Addo is off. Now, whether Chris Hilton takes over or not is something we can't tell for a fact. But assuming he doesn't take over, whoever comes is also going to start all over again. And here we have AFCON qualifiers, we have an AFCON to play next year. Between now and next year, it's some few months. And who can tell me that with that sort of arrangement, if you have a Senegal still keeping the setup they have, how are you going to
Let me stretch this. Let me stretch this. You spoke about Aliou Cisse, the coach, since 2015. But if you remember, the same Aliou Cisse took up the national team, if I'm right, sometime in 2012, did some caretaker, whatever it was supposed to be for a while. Could this not be the same you're doing with Otoo Addo?
No, Otoo Addo is completely different. Otoo Addo, as we know, will not.
But let me just even tell you. Go on.
The Otoo Addo we know, I mean, his situation we know now, it's going to end right after the World Cup, right after Ghana exits, whether at the final or whatever stage we exit, Otoo Addo's tenure will come to an end.
Great. Cisse has been the head coach of Senegal since 2015, having briefly taken charge of them following Amara Traore sacking in a caretaker role in
so he was briefly, and he went off. So he didn't continue.
Then he was given.
You see, he didn't continue. That's the difference between this one. He was there in a critical role. When they got what he wanted, they took him off and later brought him back.
So back to the Otoo Addo issue. What I expected the FA president to do when Otoo Addo said that was that, look, at this point, there is nothing anyone can do. Otoo Addo is taking us to the World Cup. I expected him to tell Joe,
but I did make a few corrections to that assertion.
Yeah.
And I need to put it on record. Holland in 1974 brought in Rinus Michels just for the period of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Because he had then guided Barcelona
To exactly.
You see? Okay, I think we are about ready to go for the naming of the players, the media conference, right? So we're going over. There you are.
Mohamed Kudus, Ajax Amsterdam. Then we have Daniel Kofi to SC Freiburg. Daniel Afriye, Hearts of Oak. Kamal Suwa, Club Bruges. Isaaku Abdul Fatau, Sporting Lisbon. Osman Bukari, Red Star Belgrade. Iñaki Williams, Atletico Bilbao. There we have Antoine Semenyo, Bristol City. Jordan Ayew, Crystal Palace. And we have Kamaldeen Sulemana from Stade Rennes. So, before we start with the questions and my answers, I would like to take a little bit insight in my thoughts. Maybe this will clear a little bit of the questioning and also all the rumors and speculations around. So first of all, I would like to say thank you. This is for the president believing in me from day one, letting me do my work how I want it to be. And this is surely the number one circumstance. I would not so good AFCON, so it's rising. And I know surely we lost some games on the road, but this is the way it is. And if we take the right conclusions out of our losses, I think surely I'm humble enough to know we can lose against every team, but I'm very, very confident enough to know that we can win against every team. And this is what I wanted to tell you, just to bring a little bit of an insight about our decisions, which were very, very tight in certain positions, and hope everybody will understand a little bit more on how we put the team together. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few minutes to take some questions. Coach, please take your seat. So you raise your hand, you tell us your name, your media house, and your question. Unfortunately, we do not have much time, so let's be as snappy as possible. Kojo Mensah.
My name is Kojo Mensah.
Thank you.
All right. My name is Kojo Mensah with the Multimedia Group. Coach, you talk about your KPIs on the field and off the field. So we've seen a player like Jeffrey Schropp play regularly for his club. Crystal Palace, and then Joseph Pencil. So per your KPI, I want to know why these two players were not able to make it to your final squad.
Okay, I forgot to say something. I'm a person also very much on principles. And one principle is like, I wouldn't like to do to anybody what I wouldn't like them to do to me. So I hope you understand that I wouldn't like to talk about players who are not in the squads. And like I said before, I give you some reasons on the pitch and off the pitch. And they were well communicated to the player. So it's between me and the player. And for me, that's it. And they know why they are not in the squad. And like I said, it's very, very difficult to understand from outside. This one I understand very well. But it's not good, I think, to talk about a player and then maybe the player comes back. So this is, for me, this is kindergarten. Goes forth and back and this and that, and he said this and he said that. We had a talk between them, between us, and they know the reason. So very, very sorry. I don't want to go inside that. You know my principles. And yeah, you have to, maybe if you want to suggest, but he knows or they know why they're on the squad. Okay,
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting us here. Coach, thank you for the work you've done. I'm Gary L. Smith from the Multimedia Group, and I'd love to know to what extent did injuries, because we've seen a lot of other nations, release their squads already. To what extent did last-minute injuries change what I am sure was your list of players from the last time when you told us in Brazil, against Brazil and Nicaragua, you said about 70% of the team was known. So to what extent did recent injuries affect this final selection? Thank you.
Okay. I know it's a little word, but I said maybe around. So I didn't say like 70%. I don't know how players are left from that games. What I can say, we purposely planned to do it on Monday the 14th because we knew things can happen. And it's a pity that some players got injured. And I really, really feel for them. Like I got injured myself many times. Still, I was lucky to play the World Cup 2006 in Germany. And I can just imagine how they feel. And it's very, very bad. But yeah, like I said, we have a good squad. We have also good players who are on standby, and this is standby, that you are ready in case something happens. So we always instruct players to be ready, not to go on holidays or whatever, to be ready, especially also in the next week. We are praying that nobody else got hurt. But I know as a coach that a lot of things can happen and we have to be prepared for that. I wouldn't like to go on the exact replacements. I think we have to concentrate on the 26 players who are there, and we have to help them, cheer them up to do their best at the World Cup. And like the president said before, I'm actually looking forward, and I like it. The discussion shows that how much the people love football, but I'm looking forward for us to use this momentum football to unite, to work together, the media with the players to support them, the people, players to support them, and not go too much about what could have been or what should be or everyone's opinion. We have to, this is the status quo, and we need your support to succeed at the World Cup.
My name is Betty Yoss and I work with GH1 TV. Now, Coach, what were some of the considerations that went into selecting with your final squad? And also, this is the best that you have. How far do you see this team going at the World Cup? Lastly, how do you feel about the energy currently surrounding the Black Stars?
let me start with the last question. I think the energy is always high. Everybody's looking forward to play at the World Cup for a lot of players the first time. So it's a big thing. I'm looking forward to play. It's the first time as a coach for me. So if the boys look ready, I have to say, and even those who are not called, scoring goals, doing well. So like I said, we really had some tough decisions to make. So, yeah, how far? It's difficult to say. So we have to take it step by step. The first aim is to survive the groups. And like I said, I'm confident enough that I know that we can do it. We have a good squad. The players are very adaptable because, like I said, I'm a coach who can change within the game also tactics, and they prove that they can do it also. And so to have these players which can maybe use also my skill to adapt to the game and change. And if we can do this, we can get far. And the first question was so like I said before, if I look on the squad before the match, but different elements. And we have players who can, let's say, head well, who can shoot well, and who can dribble well. And the optimum is like a player who can do all. But if it's not like this, we don't have a world superstar like let's say Messi or so. But we have very, very good players who have very, very good weapons. So for me, it's very important if I put a team together that I have all the weapons. That sometimes from the defense you have maybe right-footed, left-footed. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. Sometimes whatever number 6 position, you also need to have a tall guy, maybe, and instead of maybe just small guys who can play football, tall guys who can defend, headers who's good on the ground against the ball. So I think we have all the elements, and this is how we put the team together. Surely in discussions with my technical staff, and I'm very, very happy that I don't have a technical staff which is assigning me and saying yes to everything I say. They challenge me, this is for sure. And based on their challenge, I also sometimes switch my decisions, but it's good, and it's helping me. It's helping, I think, the whole staff to take the right decisions, and I'm happy for that.
Okay, thank you very much, colleague journalist. Unfortunately, we did not have time for more questions, but there will be an opportunity outside. So those of you who wanted to ask questions here, you can do that when we step out. Thank you very much, Coach. Wish you the best of luck. It's time to hand over to Tato from here.
Otoo Addo had been justifying his reasons why he picked Kwame and didn't pick Kojo, why Kwabena was dropped and then Yao was thought about but eventually not included. I'm going to get the views of Let me even start by getting first the view of Ibu, after which I will then get our statistician, Kofi Acheko from Pong, to find out what he about the reasons why A, B, C, D are not included, G, K, Y were included. Ebo, what's your take?
The coach just did what the media expected. All the speculations came to pass. Now it's going to have it very difficult going forward because at the end of the day, it's like nothing changed. The media said this was going to happen, and exactly the prediction of the media comes in. And the only question that he answered, he literally said nothing.
Yep.
On the exclusion of slot and this. I feel like his advisors should have a way of getting him to answer some of these questions. Because once the media takes him on that tangent, and they're stopping. I don't know what your statisticians will say, but I'm certain that with the kind of answers he's giving, he's going to have it very tough for the country.
Very tough. But that's what I've been joined here by the statistician himself, Fuad Ibrahim and Lawrence Ati. Ziggy, I don't know. The Dennis Odoi, Tariq Lamte, Ali Duseidu, Daniel Amate, Joe Edu, Alexander Jiku, Mohamed Salisu, Abdul Rahman Baba, and then Gideon Mensah. And then let's get midfielders out, if we can have them. Have the midfielders. Okay, what's your take?
Yeah, Carl, if you look at the goalkeeping department, it's said that if the incidents that are taking place recently with regards to the injuries to Richard Ofori and Jojo Olakot, we are very certain that...
Tell me, what was Richard Ofori's injury?
Well, Richard Ofori, if you look at his situation at Orlando Pirates in South Africa over the last 6-7 months, he's been on and off. He recently got injured. He came back, played the game, and then suffered the injury situation again. So it looks as if the situation is not very, very nice for him at Orlando Pirates.
Can I be quite skeptical here? Is it, put it bluntly, is it genuine injury or just a case of...
No, it's genuine.
Not interested.
It's a genuine issue because if you remember, during one of the qualifiers, I think the qualifiers for the AFCON, the game he played against South Africa, he was forced off, I think, later on in the second half, and was due to that groin injury. And this season, that situation has repeated itself twice. So it's a genuine.
Gets injured on Saturday.
So that's the reason why we are having the three goalkeepers being named.
That is how inspire confidence in
No. If we check the numbers, this season, out of the available 3,510 minutes, if you look at the combined minutes played by these goalkeepers, it's just 1,930. Minutes out of the available,
for which he probably have had the most.
Yes,
that lad Ibrahim.
No, not him. Oh. It's actually Lawrence. Yeah, for St. Gallen. If you check his numbers at St. Gallen this season in the Swiss Super League, he got a red card in August when they were playing against Grasshoppers, and since then he returned from the suspension. He's played every single minute for his team this season at St. Gallen. So if you look at the situation of Abdul Manaf Nouruddin, for instance, where he plays at Cassiopen in Belgium, if you look at the number, this season he's actually the goalkeeper who started keeping the post for his team. But in a game that was played in early part of the season, the third game of the season, his performance was not so good that he was taken off at halftime. And ever since, he's not played any game for them, except the last but one game that they played in the cup game, in the Belgium Cup. To play a cup game where he played and also shipped 3 goals. So the numbers are not very, very good. And if you look at how important the goalkeeping department has become to the modern game, I think that the 3 goalkeepers, we do not inspire a lot of.
Let's go to the list of defenders that they've lined up here. Odoi, Lamte, Seidu, Amate, Edu, Jiku, Salisu, Baba, and Mensah.
Carl, with the exception of Baba Rahman, I think the defense talking about in terms of consistency, in terms of playing time, and our defense is the strongest part or point of our team this going into the World Cup. Because if you look at Denis Odoi, where he plays for Club Brugge in the Belgium League, he's getting the number 15 times this season. And I also have to add, I also have to add that and also not getting the game minute this season. If we check the game minutes, played just 177 league minutes for Brighton and Hove Albion this season, despite the fact that he scored in the game. Ali Lucedu, fantastic player, he's also getting the minutes for his club at Clermont-Foot in the French League One. He's played 12 out of the 14.
The French don't take say one.
Played in the league. Daniel Mate has played 12 times for Leicester City in the EPL, and Joseph Edu. The La Liga have traveled 14 match days. Out of the 14 match days, he's played all the 14 games for Celta Vigo in the Spanish La Liga. So he's getting the number. He started every single game and completed every single game for Celta Vigo this season.
Okay.
Same Mohamed Salisu's team, Southampton.
He's played virtually all the 14
games, but the team is not performing too well. But in terms of the numbers, he's got the numbers. Baba Rahman, they played 21 games in the English Championship, and if I tell you Baba Rahman's numbers, he's not.
Let's not talk about it. We've read him, so let's move on.
And Gideon also same.
It seems as if Collins doesn't fancy him.
Yeah. So out of the defenders, out of the 12,600 minutes available for the defenders minutes combined, our defenders have played just 8,460.
Okay, let's see if we can change this to the midfielders and the strikers. If you can bring it up, then it will highly be appreciated. Yeah. Midfielders are on. There we are. So we can start here, can't we?
Yeah.
Andre.
Yeah.
Partey. Owusu. And Chire.
Yeah. Because of the situation in Qatar, they are hosting the World Cup. So the Qatar Star League had been on break for the past month. So he even came to Ghana recently and he has returned. He's played all the 7 matches they played. He scored a goal. Season, he was one of the best players for Assad in the Qatari Star League. Thomas Partey has played 11 times this season for us. Now he scored 2 goals. Very important for him because of situations with injuries. He's been on and off. But this time, I look at the last 5 games, he's been very consistent for us now. Elisha Owusu plays for Genk in Belgium. Of Otoo Addo. He's a former player for Olympique Lyon. He was born in France. I took Otoo Addo to speak to him to convince him to play for the Black Stars.
Have you played for the Black Stars prominently?
In fact, his first game was a game against Nigeria when in the final playoff stage, and then he came on. And I think that most fans, most of the technical team members were convinced with his performance in the second leg game in Abuja. That was a game that he got people convinced. But another thing with him also that he suffered an injury just the last 2 games that he started playing for Ghent in the Belgium League, and even that he doesn't command the starting place. One game he played 14 minutes and the other game was 12 minutes. So he's just warming himself. He's just coming back from injury, and you know when players are coming back from injury, they just need time, some playing time to get them up to scratch. This is the most consistent, most regular player in the Ghanaian team. The midfield,
Kudus,
Abdul, Salis, Samed, consistent.
Can we get the
midfielders back?
Can we get the midfielders back, please? And let's take a look. If you can go back one step
to the midfielders.
Good. So now you're talking about him.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most consistent player among all the midfielders so far this season. Plays for Lens in the French League 1. It's right? Yeah. Ligue 1. Yeah. They are second on the Ligue 1 league table. Out of the 15 games that they've played this season, he started every single game and completed every single game. He scored a goal. And if you look at his position, what he's doing so far in the league, I think that he's in the best form going into the World Cup.
He seems to be the star player, right?
Yeah, Kudus Mohammed has the highest number of goals this season among all the Ghanaian players named in the squad. He has scored 10 goals, 5 in the league, 4 in the Champions League, and 1 in the Dutch Super Cup.
Can you build a team around these 2?
Yes, of course. If they are in shape, if they are fit, you can. Ghana can.
Let's presume they are fit.
They are fit. You can decide to.
And if you were in Addo's shoes,
yeah,
who would you pick? 1, 2, 3. Would you drop him?
Yes, based on form.
Okay. So you pick 1, 2. Okay, not necessarily 3. What would you pick? 4 or 3?
3.
So yeah. I suppose this is one.
Yeah, Thomas Partey.
This
then
is one.
Salis, then Kudus.
And this is one.
Yeah, because Daniel Koficho is also coming from injury. Yesterday in the last round of matches before the international break in the German Bundesliga, he was still not for Freiburg again. Freiburg are second on the Bundesliga table, right? So if you look at how they are performing, but then Daniel Kofic, because of the injury situation, is not getting the game minutes. So if you are starting the World Cup today, I think that Salah is based on his form. If you are forming the spine of the Black Stars team, you have to look at a player like Sam.
Let's go to the forwards here. Let's go to the forwards here.
Okay.
We've got names like Banya Friye, Kamal Sowa, Fatawu, Bukari, Williams, Semenyo, Ayu, and Suleimana.
Okay, so from the top, everyone knows what into the talking point when you're talking about Afriye Banye. His performance for the Black Galaxies, Hasselfolk in Africa, the under 23 team, the Black Meteor. So the conversation, I mean, he's justified his call-up on the local scene, and most people were clamoring for the coach to hand him a call-up. This is another player who has also done so well this season in the UEFA Champions League, though domestically he's yet to score a goal. But if you watch him in the group that featured Club Brugge, Atletico Madrid, and the rest, he did very well in the UEFA Champions League. Playing for Club Brugge in the UEFA Champions League in Belgium. And Fatau,
so before you go, so will you take a risk there because he's playing for Club Brugge? Who is that one who's playing for Club?
Salis. No, Club is a defender. Dennis Odoi.
Okay. Yeah, I was messing them up. Okay, go ahead.
So this, his place is a place in the team. There's no doubt about it. Now, what Otoo Addo needs to do is how he's going to be able to get these guys to develop that telepathy around themselves, because he's new to the team. He's a former player of Right to Dream Academy. He's among the players that when Ghana was going to the under-17 tournament in India, remember the issue that came with Right to Dream and some players. He was one of them together with Kudus Mohammed, and so he's one of those players. Fantastic. Fatah, anytime he dons the national team colors, the Black Stars, he proves a point. But it's not the case at the club level for Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. Mostly, he's playing with the Team B. He's just played 22 minutes of league action this season. Wow. Just 22 minutes for the first team. And once he's played 22 minutes, you can't even talk about goal scoring in the league. So we know he's from Osman Bukari for Red Star Belgrade in the Serbian league. He was also doing very well for Red Star Belgrade in the Champions League, and also in the Serbian Superliga is playing very well. Inaki Williams for Atletico Bilbao. He scored 5 goals this season for them. He's their main man, playing alongside his younger brother Antoine Semenyo. 4 goals in the championship, 19 games.
Striker.
He's more of 4 goals.
He's not a supportive striker.
Yeah, he operates from the rings. So he's got 4 goals, 3 in the league and 1 in the cup game.
Would I be right to say that since you said that our defense is our strongest point, can I say that the forwards are the weakest point because they don't get goals?
Yeah, the forwards are the weakest point, because out of if you do a combination of goals scored from the midfielders and attackers, they've scored 38 goals in total. 10 of those goals are from Kudus Mohammed. Yes. Just one. Kudus Mohammed. Yeah, 10 goals from him. Thomas Partey has 2 goals, and Salis has 1. Kudus Mohammed from the midfielders and then the attackers. Partey has 2, Salis has 1, Kudus has 10, Tre has 2. Because it's the Nigerian international has taken his position at Crystal Palace. But anytime he gets the opportunity to play, he has not committed in Nigeria.
He's not likely to play for England. He speaks with some English accent.
There's another player, Mike.
Another one. He's another.
Stoppage. Then the last player who is coming back from injury, we just understand that he's just resumed training. Okay.
You told me about players being injured, players being or just coming back from injury or what. So why does nobody want to talk about Schnopp? Why is Schnopp not here? Why was he not? And there's no case of he's not injured or what. He's been playing almost every time.
Carl, the reality is that I think the conversation has gone way beyond form guide, because it's obvious that there are players who are doing far better for their clubs. See here, we can have the conversation about Joseph Pencil. Bishop, we already mentioned his name. We can talk about Bernard Tepkete. We can mention a few other names who are doing better at the club level than these players. So when you talk about squad selection, the choice of the players, of the coach to make the selection, and then the justification But clearly, if you look at Jeffrey Schropp this season, he has played 12 out of the 14 games he's played. 12 of them, he's played 10 as a DM for Crystal Palace. And then he played as a left back. And if you check his form, if you watch the EPO and you see how he plays football, there's no way that squad and a player like Baba Rahman should be here, right? He's far better than Elisha Owusu. So for me, if I'm the national team selector, there's no way I'm going to leave David Schropp at home. But that's what I'm saying. The bars stop on him when it comes to the selection of players, and he's justified it. At the end of the day, we as media men, we as football enthusiasts, our bit is to stay home. When he goes and things go bad, then we sit here and criticize him.
Exactly, folks. When what's the name? Akosia comes in starting from tomorrow, right? When Akosia comes in starting from tomorrow, there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever. We'll start getting your views on the squad, and we'll give you what the how do you call the social media? So this is what the man has put his hope in.
Yeah,
hands on heart, saying it openly.
Yeah.
You have a chance?
I have a very measured expectation of the Black Stars going into this World Cup, but I dare say that this will be our campaign.
It's interesting. I don't know if I should get to put in a word, but in terms of the broader,
these are the minutes
before I talk about. Yeah. So Ziggy has played this. Minutes out of the possible of this.
Yeah.
And these are your statistics. Manaf, 226.
Yes.
It doesn't look too good for
lad. This is supposed to be the lad.
The lad and oh my God. You're right. This is the lad. 400 out of 540.
Yeah, because
he's playing more for Korea than any of the other goalkeepers.
So combined minutes available is
you need that one. Now Partey has played. Partey.
These are defenders first,
These are defenders. But the figures at least tell me from my simple mathematics.
Over the weekend he played
over 60. That's fine. Edu has played every single minute. Who has been playing a bit more. Salisu. Now this is what baffles me because Salisu has played every game. Is that maybe he's either come off?
There was a game that he was taken off.
If I do mathematics, it means he missed one game.
Yeah, he missed one game.
90 minutes, one game.
Not good enough.
Odoi, yes. And that's why, for many people who argue and are being fashionable and say, oh, Lamptey, he's much more of a defender, if you know what I mean, than Lamptey. And Lamptey's minutes doesn't pick too well. He's been getting Carabao Cup matches.
So that's what I was talking about. Minutes. That's a game that's available 1,260 minutes.
This is Premier League matches. That we're talking about. Only 177 minutes. So if you divide this by 14, you're talking about on the average sample.
Why do you have to do that?
12 minutes, 12, maximum 30 minutes per game. And that's all right. Let's move over to the midfielders.
Alidu Seydou.
No, he's played quite a bit. He's played quite a bit. Okay, so let's move over to the midfielders where we have Partey. I mean, even if he had 361, who cares? Because he scores goals for Ghana. He plays well for Ghana. And lately, he's been scoring some cracking goals for Arsenal.
Andre Ayew. So 7 games. He played all the 7 games before the.
To be play more in the Champions League than in the Eredivisie
because the Dutch were taking a risk. There's another Ghanaian player at IS Amsterdam. His name is Brian Brobbey.
Brian Brobbey is not a Ghanaian. His parents are Ghanaian. He doesn't know Ghana.
so in the
Ashanti.
Just like in the case of the other players like Inaki Williams that
Inaki doesn't know Ghana until he came.
There's a guy in Fatau's team. Fatau Isaku's team. There's a Ghanaian there.
Portugal, okay.
But Fatau's figures are absolutely disastrous.
22 league minutes this season.
How do you justify this?
Otoo Addo can justify. Then Kamadi Sulemana, he has played 257 minutes out of the available 1,260 minutes. Stade Rennais in France.
Yeah.
And then Kamasoa played 883 out of the available 1,530. Yeah. And then Salis. Sally's numbers have not come, but he's played all the minutes.
So his goal is 1350.
Yeah, he's played all the minutes.
Okay.
And he has
So let's move it to the
Salis, no, Lons. Yeah, they are second on the League One.
Who is the Clermont guy?
Clermont guy is Ali Duteu. They used to play for, the two of them used to be players for Clermont Foot. And then this guy moved to Lons before the start of the season.
Look at it, as we started, Jerome, I haven't seen the minutes. Then Jerome's first question was that the midfield minutes are disastrous. And you see, we should be very careful because then we are setting a bad precedent. We are telling people that no matter what you do at the club level, we are not going to select you based on what you do at the club level. Dangerous, very, very dangerous. You bring in competition into a team by making sure there's an equal pegging for everybody. And look at the numbers. Omo. It's not good.
I'll be frank with you. What blew me off the radar was this one.
Yeah, that's what I pointed to.
It blew me off the radar.
I think there's a guy in Portugal or the same team that he plays for.
No. What you are talking about is Abdulaziz Yusuf.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays for Real Ave. It's a different team.
It's a different team.
Yeah.
But Real Aves are still in the Primera.
Yeah. His numbers are better.
His numbers are.
But some people that.
No, Carl, you see, you cannot tell Jerome that you came to Dansuma to look for players. When you go to Dansuma about you saw me, but when you go to Sahara, you didn't see Jerome. That's what's happening. You go to the Portuguese league, players, you see one, but you don't see another one. But you mean the same Drake player that had been given out. That's why the place said,
let's call a spade a spade.
How do you explain this?
But a coach who goes to Portugal is probably going to go to Porto. They're probably going to go to Lisbon, and then probably going to
technology these days. You don't need to.
Anyway.
The statistics against
Now that explains why we will have something like this, because then for some players he cannot even tell the public why some players were dropped. And you see, the evidence is overwhelming. You have a player who has 1,170 minutes.
Possible 1,170.
And has played 22 minutes. Now you have another player who has been consistent throughout the season. I mean, since the season started. Because they are off the field.
Let me be serious. You have the stats for Shop?
Yeah, I can. The stats, yeah, Joseph Pensy has played 13 games this season. He scored 7 goals and provided 6 assists.
So Joseph Pensy's goals added to all our strikers that we are taking.
Let's pick up the strikers. Let's pick up the attackers, strikers.
And I think his team is the Champions League.
Yeah. Joseph Pensy.
But don't forget that Kudus, for instance, right? Kudus here has scored, even though he played, look at the minutes he's played.
Half of that.
Right? But guess what? He's played more for the Champions League and scored more goals. So that necessarily means.
You see,
but he had the strikers. He had the details.
Look at Inaki Williams.
He's playing.
Look, he is clearly playing for Atletico.
He's got 5 goals.
Even Banya.
Yeah, Banya's own is 3 over.
Over 60% he's played.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely over 50. I'm just trying to do the math here. This is 2/3.
Carl, it is very important that we've all been to tertiary education, where we've all applied to go to university. None of us are picked to go to university because our father is blue or our father is yellow. Your academic qualifications determine how far you can go to a large extent. I know there are people who go through protocol and all that. But we are going to a World Cup, a country of over 30 million people. And you ask me what is going to be clear at this World Cup? Technology. the statistician from the gentleman standing there, he is not giving us statistics because he likes player B or player C. He is saying minutes that you can play. This is what you've done. So go there, you can say you will not answer. The answer is there. Even though you don't want to answer as to
those issues of the field must be known. Is it discipline?
Yeah, that's why he has to put that out.
If it's discipline, all of us can attest.
You remember in the France 98, when the coach decided I'm Cantona, and I'm not taking Ginola. He came out and explained that based on these reasons, I'm not taking them. Then, even though the French public did not like it at the time, they had to agree that he was applying a matter of principle. Let's say this principle or a snob has refused to play a couple of matches that you have called them to come and play. Come out and tell us.
So you have doubts about why you did this?
I'm a very patriotic person, and therefore, going forward, I want everybody to support us. But it is better you are going into a tournament without a weight at your back than with a weight.
Yeah. But let me make a point about patriotism. You see, sometimes we talk about patriotism as if it is just accepting anything. No. Patriotism also means that if you find something wrong with the system that you live in, be patriotic enough to point it out. So it's everything together.
Because we understand that the conversation that took place between the coach and then Joseph Pencil, he made it clear to him that it is not only his decision.
Exactly.
Right? That he decided.
But this is where we are all speculating. Because the coach to tell us what happened.
Because the incident, the conversation between Joseph Pencil and the coach, it is public. The player recorded
from one side.
No, the player recorded the conversation. It is out.
What did he say?
No. Tell us for the benefit of our viewers.
You don't stand here and make an assertion without backing it. So what did he say? Give an idea of what the exchanges are.
I have heard Palmer.
No. I'm saying that. No, he's saying that.
No, please hold on a minute. I'm not going to chat here. What do you say?
Okay, you're not going to run away from what Acheku is saying. I'm just saying that I have heard Palmer attest to the fact that the player was not picked.
What do you know about that?
And Palmer also in that same, maybe in a different interview, confirmed that the coach should be careful because some of the players are recording him. It is out. But this is what happened. So the coach called him and they were having a conversation. The coach was telling him that unfortunately, like he couldn't make the squad because the other options that he has. He mentioned Fatao. Those players are better than him, right? And then Joseph mentioned a couple of them. He mentioned Elisha Otoo. That a player like Elisha, for example, plays in Belgium. They play in the same league. He's been playing. He's been scoring. Elisha is not getting the game minutes. He's even been injured. So how do you justify to him that Elisha Otoo is better than him? Then Otoo Addo gave him a couple of answers and I went ahead to tell him that, look, the decision he's making is not just only his opinion, but he's taking into consideration others like those other members of his technical team and those outside of it.
Yeah, as you say,
no, hold on, pause. Okay. He's taking it from not only his point of view, but for the other members of the technical team. So he ropes in Houghton, Boateng, and Dramani. Yeah. And then what else did he say?
Then he said for reasons outside of football. And if you listen to Palmer, he makes the point the FA, and then he gives a chronology of events that has taken place.
Somebody can argue that with Palmer's accusations and things is because quotation marks are grapes.
Yeah, but we also know the relationship between Palmer and the player. So once Joseph Pencil plays at the World Cup and he gets a better deal, the onwards transfer, some money comes to my youth. Palmer owns the money if he gets the money.
Okay. No, but so on form guy. You have not been fair to our listeners, our viewers. And the reason I'm saying so is that the gentleman is saying that the man was recorded.
He was recorded.
Did you hear? Have you heard it yourself?
He was recorded.
Have you heard it?
I know.
Just hold on a second.
Let's make that distinction. Hearsay is different.
This is not hearsay.
Have you heard the recording?
I've not heard it.
So let's put it on record.
I tried the source.
That's why I wanted to know exactly the reason.
For me. So the reasons he gave the player that there are other players who are better than him. He mentioned Fatao, and so
and the guy makes mention of the fact that if Fatao is better, what about the
with Fatao he didn't agree. He told him that Fatah is not playing at his club level. Just how we should here.
Guys, let's bring up the list of the rest of the strikers. Let's see.
These are the strikers.
Oh, these are.
Yeah.
How can these be the strikers? We had a whole list of attackers.
This is
what happened to them.
This is them.
Where's Jordan?
It's improved. Jordan is up in the midfielders. You know now they do attackers, wingers, and all that. So
I know, but
that's how we want to do our team now. So now he does the wingers, attackers, and then forwards.
That's the way he does it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who started that?
You have the list for wingers?
No, we put all of them together in the midfielders. Yeah.
Bring it back.
All right. Can we bring back the midfielders and let's see what we have sitting in there? If you can get the
we can segregate them into offensive midfielders and then defensive midfielders.
I mean that can't be done right now. But if you can bring the original one that came before this one and take a look at it again. Yeah. Now these are the authentic.
So this is Andre here. This is Jordan.
Jordan in here.
Yeah. But he's not been scoring.
I know. He hasn't scored this. He doesn't score that much. The reason why I always sort of defend him, coach, is that if he's not doing well or he's not that good, why do Crystal Palace keep on fielding him?
Even the minutes at Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
it's good.
Why do they keep on fielding him? So he might be doing something right.
Maybe we are already using him the way Crystal Palace
is doing something right. Now, but unfortunately, we also measure quotation marks attached by the number of
Mr. Statistician, where does Jordan play for Crystal Palace?
Or
where does he play for Ghana?
On the ring, wide.
That's at Palace he plays on the rings.
All right, folks. So I think listen up. I know. There's going to be lots of discussion out there. Absolutely no doubt about it. A big thanks to you.
Thank you.
Kofi Acheku from Paul for it's Kwesi now.
Yes,
okay. All right. Simply put, Emmanuel. That's sorted out. Emmanuel Kwesi Acheku from for giving us the data and the stats. He's one of the foremost statisticians we have in this country. He breaks the details down, makes it exactly what I like to do, what I love, so I can work on basis when I'm interviewing and talking to people. Thanks for coming on the program. Thanks for bringing it on. We'll continue this tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Okay. We're going to get more stats. Yeah. We'll look briefly on how do you call it? The other teams, Group B and Group C and all whatever they are. But we'll focus a lot more on the squad. And whoever will be in the studio as the guest will give them an opportunity.
So I think the one thing that can be interesting is that we can pick the 26-man squad of Portugal. We look at their numbers, do that of South Korea, and then Uruguay. Then you can do a proper analysis.
Now we give you that responsibility. This is the squad as our producers and our director, the technical team behind, have decided to go a bit psychedelic. I sincerely hope that he becomes the number one. Just for the fact that at least it will give the local people.
I think Otoo Addo trusts him.
I'm just saying, I hope he will be the number one. Yeah. It's simple. If he's the number one, and I'm not saying, he can sprain his finger, can't he, for a second?
A lot of things can happen because you see, I don't think the lad expected to be here.
It's
now within a space of 48 hours.
Everything. I don't know about your.
I think even when we go to the 2006, Olele was brought in against Jamaica, if I remember.
Yeah.
At the very last.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you a few things. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. So in this particular case, no doubt.
But you forgot about the horse is made ready for battle.
That's the point.
But
you will be going
lies in the hands of.
But whatever. This is the squad that has been presented by the coach. You say these are the players he hopes to council didn't make it. For me, I think that the whole business and the team. I'm not looking at 2022. I'm looking at 2024. And the truth of the matter is that they are new people. We must give them time to gel. and then let's see what they can do for the Nations Cup in 2024. Then we can start talking about possibility. So for me, expectations are not high. I just want to see some level of teamwork going. I just need to do a few things. All right, so we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll round up. Well, I've been told that time against the end. Thanks to Kosia Chako from Paul, thanks to John Watry, thanks to Ebu Apia, and thanks to the whole technical team.